I find it to be ridiculous is not because a nonprofit should not be exempt from paying taxes. That's fine. I agree that that's the purpose of a nonprofit is to raise money for a nonprofit charity organization, and they shouldn't have to pay taxes. I agree with that. However, when it comes to a religious institution, one of the rules about being a nonprofit church or religious organization is that you, or even any kind of 501(c)(3) organization, means that you agree to never talk about or promote or anti-promote or whatever any kind of political office or political person running for office or anything else, or preach about politics or anything else. That happens with great abandon in this country. The preachers, the priests, and people, and Catholic churches, Christian churches specifically, are always telling their congregation whom to vote for, whom not to vote for, because this person's a person of God, this person's not a person of God, and this person's this and that, and that breaks the law in terms of the tax code. And so when that happens, those churches should be forced to pay taxes. And I believe that because that's fair. Because if a nonprofit organization that's not religious, which is under the same rules as the churches, did that, they would be held accountable. They would be held accountable for that. They would be if they're going around promoting Barack Obama or George Bush or whomever, their candidate of choices, and they're the Komen Foundation or something for cancer, then they would be held accountable for that. Why should a church that's held to the same exact standard in terms of tax code not be held to the same repercussions? So for me, it's really ridiculous that this country allows that to continue to happen, and they get to not pay the consequences for their actions. Ken Boggle says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under Namyo Renge Kyo, with liberty and justice for all. That's hilarious. You see, religion should not play into the Pledge of Allegiance. That's funny. Anyway, so David refuses to answer the question about religion. Not sure why. What are you afraid of? Why are you not going to say? Just talk to me. Just because we disagree on something doesn't mean I can't have a discussion with you about it. Just because you and I don't see eye to eye on religion. What were you going to say? What did I ask you anyway? I asked you, what was I talking about before? I was talking about, I can't remember the question was I asked you. Churches and taxes, I guess, was what I was talking about before. Yeah. So why don't you answer the question? Whatever. Anyway, Kim Boggle says separation of church and state. No religious institutions should hold governmental benefits, period. Yes. And one more thing about this before we move on to the next topic. Our founding fathers explicitly said that religion, church and state should be separated. It was a specific and explicit tenet to our constitutional belief system, and it was something that was that has been a thread of this country ever since. Because if it doesn't happen that way, then we become an oligarchy. Not an oligarchy, sorry. What the fuck is it called when you become a religious state? I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember, but anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. If we didn't have that, that's what we would become. And so that's why we need to pay attention to our Constitution and agree with it. And apparently David's too afraid to confront me about something, which is really hurtful and embarrassing, but whatever. Okay, now we're going to talk about sex and gender. So this is something that obviously I am interested in discussing, because we're going to talk about gay marriage. We're going to talk about prostitution. We're going to talk about the origins of sexual orientation and more. So now we're going to talk about sex and gender. I'm going to find a better one. Anyway, so sex and gender. So when it comes to sex and gender, it is something that people often have an issue with and don't understand. If you're somebody who is ignorant, and I use that word explicitly and by choice because it really does explain what I mean. Let me take a quick drink. Oh, that's better. If you are somebody who doesn't really understand people who are transgendered or gay or bisexual or have a different sexual orientation or a different kind of bent than you may have because you are a heterosexual, white Anglo-Saxon heterosexual Protestant male or something, then you don't really understand people generally, if you haven't educated yourself about them, that are different than you when it comes to sex and gender. So people, the first question is, are you born gay or is that a choice? Okay. I can't believe still in 2013 we're still discussing this, because this has been a question people have asked for so long, since, at least since the 1960s, when gay people became really visible and the marches for gay rights or whatever. Obviously, this is the way I look at it. Gay people, if you ask a gay person, just go ask a gay person whether it's a choice or not. If they tell you it's a choice, then maybe it's a choice. If they tell you it's not a choice, then maybe it's not a choice. I mean, if the majority, 99.9% of people in the world, gay people in the world, tell you it is a birth thing, it's something you're born with and not something that you choose, then maybe you should believe them. If you want to know what it's like to be black, go ask a black person. If you want to know what it's like to be gay, ask a gay person. If you want to know what it's like to be a woman, ask a woman. Don't ask a man. So my point is, go to the horse's mouth. Don't just believe what you've heard because you've heard it through hearsay or through your family and friends. The truth is you can go and ask a gay person whether it's a choice or not. And the choice is not. It's not a choice. But before I expound on this, I want to say one little disclaimer about this. I always hate discussing whether being gay is a choice or not, and this is the reason. It doesn't fucking matter if it's a choice or not. It doesn't matter if it's a choice. If every gay person wakes up every day and chooses to be gay, and I'm going to be gay instead of straight because it's so much better and so much easier and blah, blah, blah. It's like if that ever happened. But anyway, even if every gay person woke up every morning and said they're going to be gay that day for the rest of their life, versus someone who's born gay, and it's innate and not something that was ever chosen. It doesn't matter, because it's either a human right or not. You either have the freedom to be who you are or you don't. So it doesn't fucking matter if it's a choice or if it's not a choice. It only matters to people who are religious idiots that need some sort of God-driven complex to make them okay with it. Otherwise, they think you're just a degenerate or some kind of disgusting human being who chooses to be gay. And so being born gay is the way it is. I'm telling you, as a gay man that is born, you're born that way, okay? Whether you're a male or female, whatever you are, you're born gay. You're born gay male or gay female or bisexual male or bisexual female, or you're born a straight male or a straight female. Those are the choices that you have, and the choices that are made for you when you're born. And that's what happens when you're born. You're one of those three things, okay? Gay, bisexual, or you're gay. Gay, bisexual, or you're straight, I'm sorry. And on the other end of the spectrum, you've got transsexuals, people who are born in the wrong body because their brain says that they're a female, but they're in a male body, or vice versa. And that's real as well. It's not any more of a choice than anything else. So people need to have better understanding about what it means to be gay, because if you do, then you'll be well educated and you'll actually be a better person for it. So I don't really know what else to say about that, but I mean, obviously, being gay, I think, is not something that is ever been a choice. So what do you think? Do you think being gay is a choice, or do you think it's something that you're born with? Ken Boggle says, I hate quoting Lady Gaga, but I was born this way. Well, I agree with that. The next sex and gender question is gay marriage. Quickly touch on this too, because gay marriage topic, I've talked about it some zillion times. I don't really want to talk about it much anymore. I'm married, I'm gay, and big deal, whatever. We got married in Connecticut. We live in Texas. It's not legally recognized here in Texas because we live around a bunch of bigots and Rick Perry is our governor. So, that's the way it is right now. But after DOMA was overturned this year in the summer, thank God, one part of DOMA was overturned. It overturned the federal portion. So now everybody in this country who is gay married, if you want to call it that, and not so just married and happens to be gay, was married in a state that recognizes gay marriage. Regardless of where you live, you have the majority of the rights that any other heterosexual couple has. If you live in a state that you were married in, or live in a state that recognizes gay marriage, you have all the rights that any heterosexual couple has. My husband and I have majority of the rights, but not all of them yet. We can inherit. We can inherit from each other, and we can get each other's Social Security, and we have to be able to have health benefits if one of us is working for a company and we want the health benefits for our spouse, and they offer that there, and so things like that. We still have those things, but there are other things we don't have. Like, for example, we can file income taxes together, but we cannot What's the thing we can't do here? Shit, it was a big deal too, and I can't remember what it was. Oh my God. Our marriage is not recognized in our own state. So that's the issue. It causes a lot of issues. Plus, if we ever want to get divorced, we would have to go back to Connecticut, which I don't hope never happens, but we would have to go back to Connecticut and live there for 6 months to be able to be divorced. So the good thing is this topic is moving forward. This topic is moving forward, and we're gaining ground on that. The last thing is, when it comes to sex, is prostitution. Now, prostitution is something that is very controversial as well. People feel like prostitution is the most horrible thing in the world and should be illegal. It's immoral. It's disgusting, whatever. Now, I am a very liberal individual. I think very liberally. I have a liberal, very free mind, okay? I've said that many times because I'm trying to tell you that I'm a free thinker. I always have been. So I come to conclusions on my own. And as I said, if you're not hurting somebody else, I don't really care what you do. Now, if you are a prostitute, that's the choice you make. You want to be a prostitute because you need to make it through school or because you have no other choice or whatever the thing is. It's not exactly the best career choice, but some women, that's all they can do or all they can do to get by or whatever. Fine. More power to them. Be a prostitute. I don't care as long as it's healthy or whatever. But the thing about prostitution is generally it's dangerous and there's pimps involved and there's sex slave trade and things like that going on behind the scenes. And that's all because it is illegal to be a prostitute. However, if it were legalized, these things would go away for the most part. And women who are prostitutes or men who are prostitutes would then be able to actually get health care for themselves. They would have a health plan. They'd be checked every month for STDs, HIV, etc. They would get health benefits. They would have a retirement plan. I mean, I'm saying the whole thing. So that they're taken care of for the rest of their life to some degree, as anyone else working in a company would be, as opposed to living on the streets and being all fucking, hoed out and shit. And so to me, it behooves the country to legalize prostitution. It is legal in some states. It's legal in Nevada. Heterosexual prostitution is legal in Nevada, but gay prostitution is not. That's so fucking backwards, by the way. I mean, come on. Obviously, that's just a punitive thing against gay people. But yeah, so it is legal in some places, and I think it's perfectly fine. Look, and the thing is, the way the system is set up now, it punishes the women and not the Johns. So the Johns typically get off scot-free, or they get a slap on the wrist, but the prostitutes end up going to jail for a long time because they were caught or they've done it over and over again. And this is something else I look at. I look at it this way too. Look, if you are a prostitute, what are you doing? You're having sex with somebody else in exchange for money, right? Okay. What else sounds like that? What else sounds like having sex with somebody else in exchange for money? Pornography. Pornography is exactly the same thing. Except the camera's involved. Pornography, you're having sex with somebody else in exchange for money, except it happens to be on camera. So what the fuck difference does it make if you're doing it on camera and it's commercial and you're selling it to people as opposed to just selling it to one person in the privacy of a room? I mean, to me, it seems like that would be legal and the other would be illegal. So to me, it makes no sense, and it doesn't make any sense. It is, as they say, the oldest profession, and it is, as they say, something that women have been doing for a very long time, and men too, to some degree. So it makes no sense to punish people for buying the real thing in with someone else in exchange for money versus buying the real thing with someone else on camera as an actor. It makes no sense to me. It's just illogical. So eventually I do think and feel that the United States, probably 20 years from now or something, will probably have legalized prostitution because it's just a matter of time, and it really is an ignorant law. It doesn't make any sense. If you have pornography and it's legal to make porn, there's no reason it shouldn't be legal to have sex with someone else in the privacy of your room. Ken Boggle says pornography is prostitution. So if I pick up a trick and use my camera phone, it's not prostitution. Exactly. That's what I was saying. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If the camera's involved, fine. David says, yeah, Cam 4 and all those whores on there should be arrested. Yeah. So, so it's what I'm saying. It just is a stupid law, and it makes absolutely no sense at all. So why anybody would ever distinguish between the two is just beyond me. It makes no sense to me at all. But, you say these things